Now out on Blu-ray from Cauldron Films is a film that was new to me, though it's not a new film by any stretch of the imagination. This is Eloy de Iglesia's Murder in a Blue World from 1973. This is a Spanish thriller, psychological thriller. I don't know that I would really call it a horror movie, though it has disturbing elements. It's got certainly has murder in it, so maybe it's a horror movie. This stars Lyon, who is known as the titular character in Stanley Kubrick's Lolita, and Chris Mitchum, son of Robert Mitchum. And it's this. It's certainly, you can't talk about this and not talk about A Clockwork Orange. It's certainly a Clockwork Orange feeling film, although apparently that film had not yet been released in Spain when this movie came out. And it's always been accused of being a ripoff of the movie, but the director, I don't believe, had even seen A Clockwork Orange, but I think he'd seen some stills from the film. So if anything, he was inspired by the look of A Clockwork Orange and maybe what he'd read about it, but he hadn't actually seen it. So what is this movie about, you fool, you fool? This is very odd. It's a slightly futuristic movie. It has that early 70s future look to it where all of the decor and the clothes and everything is very mod. It is very like a few years in the future kind of thing. So it's not like everybody's flying around with jetpacks, which we still aren't, and moon boots or anything like that. But it's very pop art kind of look to this, which I love. I love that look. The transfer on this is phenomenal. This looks so good. It makes really great use of color anyway, but it always seems weird to talk about skin tones, but that is one area where a film can look new and fresh or not, and this has that. This is a great restoration. This looks so good. This is a film that would work and be entertaining with the sound off. It looks so pretty. Nice widescreen transfer. And so Sue Lyon is a nurse in this semi-future society, and she is someone who is basically taking men home and offing them for her own personal reasons. And Chris Mitchum is part of this strange leather-clad, I would say, biker gang. They're dressed like bikers. They have these helmets with these huge, like, yellow, what do you call those? The yellow face shields that are supposed to have UV protection or whatever it is. They reduce glare. Anyway, these huge yellow face shields, red helmets, black leather zip-up jumpsuits and gloves, and they ride around in this yellow dune buggy at night, and they basically go do home invasions and brutalize people and smash their houses up and stuff. So very droogy, as it were. Chris Mitchum is basically an outcast from this group due to something that happens, and he witnesses Sue Lyon dumping a body in a canal and decides to investigate. And that's all I'm going to tell you. It's a weird movie. It's very strange, incredibly stylish, really good soundtrack, the Waka Chicka guitar kind of soundtrack. Throughout the film, everybody in their homes watches these giant back projection TVs in their homes. And throughout, there are very wacky kind of spoofy commercials, which are really entertaining. And I really like this a lot. I couldn't tell you necessarily in great detail. I wouldn't anyway here, but I couldn't tell somebody who asked me exactly what all the plot details are because it's kind of weird and strange. In that way, I think it will be rewarding for me to watch it again. I certainly will. And let me show you the package. So in case you're scoping for this online, this is what it looks like. And nice new artwork on the cover. And we also get ourselves here one of those reversible covers with one of the more memorable shots from the film in there. And yes, it does. It does come with a disc. So I'm really liking Cauldron Films. I'm really liking what they're putting out, and I'm liking the treatment that they're giving it. I will read to you from my notes the extensive extras on this. You have a commentary by Kat Ellinger. If that was the only extra, it would be worth picking up for that. She's great. She's very well scholarly in terms of Euro cinema, and she gets into themes and the history of the film, the history of Iglesia, and how his background informed the film, the history of everybody in the film, and a lot of really intelligent, cool analysis of what you're seeing as you watch the film. You get, this is really interesting, this film was also known as Clockwork Terror. You get the Clockwork Terror UK VHS cut of this film. I don't know how different it is. Running time is about 1 minute shy of what the regular running time for the feature in HD is. It's a standard definition 4:3 pan and scan, ugly looking copy of the movie. So if you really want to see what a big deal this Cauldron Films restoration is, just watch a minute. just watch the first minute of Clockwork Terror and see what this movie looked like to most people for the longest time before this came out. It's got I just watched the opening a little bit. The discrepancy in running time very well is due to PAL conversion, speed up international standards, mumbo jumbo, and you can sort of see where they freeze frame and the words Clockwork Terror come up over the original title. You've got a video essay by film scholar Dr. Xavier Aldana Reyes. That's very interesting. That's 15 minutes. You get dubbing in a blue world. I love this kind of stuff. This is an interview with a man who ran a dubbing studio, who was a dubbing director for films in Spain at the time of this film. He said he did it from 68 to 77, and he dubbed either actively as an actor, because he was originally an actor, over 200 films in that amount of time. And that's Ben Tater. And he was an actor, and he tells a little bit about his own life story. Then he gets into the dubbing thing, and it's really fascinating because he gets into how they would do it. He said they would you could dub based on the words or based on the sentence, meaning you could dub a film so that you'd have to take what they originally said and do a translation, and then try to tweak that so that either the lips look like, even though they're speaking Spanish, they look like they're saying the English words you've written, or you just do it for duration so that you don't care if the lips match, but the person's going to start talking when the lips start moving, and they're going to stop when they stop. And I'm fascinated by the whole world of dubbing. It's something that isn't really delved into very much. I always refer to, there was a great Video Watchdog article years ago that talked about, I can't remember the man's name, but they talked about the husband and wife team who ran one of the major dubbing studios in Italy for European films, whose voices you've heard on anything that you know from the 60s or 70s that came out of Italy that was dubbed into English. And I love this extra. And again, this is about 20 minutes or so. And then you have a Chris Mitchum, International Man of Cinema. It's a 2008 interview with co-star Chris Mitchum about his career, and they do Murder in a Blue World a little, but it's really more of a career overview. That runs 20 minutes, very lighthearted, very funny, and very interesting interview from a guy I've not seen a lot of Chris Mitchum movies. He tended to work predominantly in Europe and in other countries outside the US on a lot of exploitation kind of stuff, despite getting his start with some pretty well-known, John Wayne movies and things like that. So extras are great on this. The movie is fascinating. If you like Clockwork Orange, if you like that kind of weird vibe of kind of mod, kind of futuristic, kind of dreamlike pop art kind of movies from the 60s and 70s, this falls right in line with that. I love that stuff. So as soon as this movie started, and it opens in a living room with a big fake TV and everything, and I was just like, I'm in. I like it. I love the music. I love the look of it. The murder stuff is interesting. It's relatively not graphic for the most part, but there are some sequences that might make you cringe a little bit. But I really liked this. So available now on Blu-ray from Cauldron Films is Murder in a Blue World.